In October 2024, Ava Reed sat in her office, staring at her mother across the desk. Her mother's hands trembled as she spoke. Ava, we need $350,000 to buy a small house. Your father and I can't keep renting. Ava listened in silence. The room felt too bright, like the sun was shouting through the window. She finally answered, calm but firm. Mom, I can't give you that. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. After everything I did for you? Ava took a slow breath. It's not about love. It's about what happened last year. It's about the things that destroyed my work. Her mother looked away. That was a misunderstanding. Ava shook her head. It was a plan. She pushed a box of tissues toward her mother. I won't fight with you today. But I won't give you cash. Her mother whispered, so money is more important than family? Ava's voice stayed steady. No. Boundaries are. She looked at the framed photo on her desk. Ava between her small team on the day they launched their product. You asked for help. I said no. Now I'll tell you why. Her mother folded her hands, waiting. Start from the beginning, she said. Ava nodded once. We'll go back 6 years to the day Granddad David's will was read. 6 years earlier in a notary's office in San Jose, the air felt heavy. The lawyer cleared his throat and read the will with a careful voice. To my granddaughter, Ava Reed, I leave the life insurance policy, valued at $150,000. Time paused. Her father, Mark, shot up from his chair. Absolutely not, he snapped. I'm his son. I built this family business for 25 years. The lawyer kept his tone even. Mr. Reed, your father already invested $500,000 into your company during his life. He recorded that as your inheritance. Ava's younger brother Tom leaned forward, angry. And me? Nothing? That's unfair. The lawyer turned a page. Other assets were assigned earlier. Ava's mother, Jenny, faced her daughter with wet eyes. Did you know about this? Did you tell him to do that? Ava shook her head. No. He never told me. We only talked about my startup ideas sometimes. Tom stepped close, pointing at Ava. See? She worked him. Ava kept her voice soft. Tom, I didn't. Her father slapped his palm on the table. Enough. We will discuss this at home. When they walked out, no one spoke. Ava felt the ground move under her feet, like the floor had grown thin and could crack at any time. 3 days later, the dining table was set, but nobody touched the food. Mark sat at the head with papers. Jenny and Tom flanked him. The empty chair across from them waited for Ava. Sit, her father said without looking up. We need to discuss the family's future, and your responsibility. Ava sat. Her father finally met her eyes. We owe the bank $200,000. Without new capital, the company dies in 6 months. You will save it. Jenny reached for Ava's hand. Sweetheart, I gave up my career to raise you. I've never asked you for anything. Help us. Tom spoke over them. I gave up college and weekends to keep this business alive. While you chase tech dreams. Ava steadied her breath. I want to help, she said, then placed a thin folder on the table. But not by covering old holes with new money. I have a plan. Build a fintech arm inside our business. Modern tools, digital onboarding, small business analytics. It can save us. Her father knocked a wine glass over with his hand. Red spread across the table. No fantasy apps. We do things the way that works. Ava kept her tone calm. The way that worked. Markets change. Jenny's voice cracked. Family first. Ava's reply was gentle but clear. Family doesn't mean silence. Let me show the numbers. Her father's jaw tightened. No, the room went very still. The next morning the kitchen smelled like coffee and fried eggs. Ava walked in with a folded proposal in her hand. Tom stared at her like she was a stranger. Jenny stirred the pan. Mark rustled his newspaper. Ava spoke before anyone could. I'm not giving the inheritance to cover debt, she said. Granddad wanted me to build a future. I'll help with a plan, not with blind money. The newspaper dropped. Mark stood face red. Ungrateful, he shouted. We paid for your fancy school. We fed you, clothed you, and this is how you repay us. Jenny left the stove and grabbed Ava's arm. If the company fails, we lose the house. Tom and Lily's future is gone. Please. Lily, Ava's younger sister, whispered from the doorway. Ava, I'm applying to college next year. Ava unfolded her paper and tried again. Here are the steps. Pilot with our top clients, integrate payment rails, cut manual invoicing. We can get cash flow positive in 9 months. Mark snatched the proposal, tore it into strips and tossed them like confetti. You think you're smarter than your father? Tom leaned in, eyes hard. You're not my sister if you walk away. Lily cried silently. Mark pointed to the door. From now on you're not my daughter. Leave this house. Don't come back without the money. Ava stood very still. Then she nodded once. Okay, she said softly. If that's the line, I won't cross it. 2 hours later, Ava stood on the porch with one suitcase and a phone that suddenly felt too heavy. Lily slipped outside, pressed a small folded note into Ava's palm and whispered, I'm sorry. I'll call you. Ava smiled through the ache. Be safe. A rideshare pulled up. As she climbed in, she looked back. Mark stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Jenny hovered behind him, eyes lowered. Tom watched from the window with a tight grin. The car door closed with a final click. In San Francisco's Mission District, Ava rented a tiny studio. 1 bed, 1 old desk, a kitchenette like a toy. That night her friend Kevin sat on the floor with her and a cheap whiteboard between them. Tell me your idea again, he said. Simple words. Ava drew 3 boxes. Small businesses. Clean dashboards. Instant insights. Honest fees. Kevin grinned. Name. Ava looked at the blank wall. Fortify, she said. Because I'm building a fortress. His smile softened. Have you heard from them? Ava opened Lily's note. For words. I believe in you. Her throat tightened. She lifted her chin. Let's build, she said. Kevin raised a paper cup of water. To Fortify. They drank like it was champagne. Outside, the city lights flickered. Inside, Ava wrote the first lines of the code that would change her life and test every boundary she thought she knew. The first 6 months were a blur of coffee, code, and rejection emails. Ava and Kevin worked from a shared table in a co-working space, heads down under humming lights. 43rd no, Kevin sighed, tapping his inbox. Ava kept typing. Good. That means someone will be 44. He looked over. Does any of this scare you? She smiled without looking up. All of it. But I'm more afraid of going back. At noon they pitched a bakery owner on a pilot. The woman crossed her arms. I hate spreadsheets, she said. Make it easy. Ava turned the laptop and walked her through 2 clicks. Sales here. Expenses here. Taxes auto-estimated. The woman stared, then nodded slowly. I'll try 1 month. Outside on the sidewalk, Kevin hooped. First real customer. Ava squeezed her eyes shut and breathed. 1 becomes 3. 3 becomes 10. That night, alone in her tiny studio, she opened Lily's note again. I believe in you. Ava whispered to the empty room. I'm going to earn that. Week after week, Ava refined the dashboard, swapping jargon for simple words. No liquidity ratios, she told Kevin. Say, cash cushion. He grinned. You're translating finance to human. A marketer named Rachel stopped by their table after overhearing a demo. Who runs your website, voice? She asked. Ava blinked. Us. Rachel smiled. It reads like a manual. Your product sounds like a friend. Let me help. Ava and Kevin traded a look. We can't pay much, Ava warned. Rachel waved a hand. Give me a tiny retainer and a tiny bit of faith. That evening they stood over the whiteboard while Rachel sketched a homepage. Headlines like conversation, she said. Photos of real owners, not stock smiles. Ava pointed to a line Rachel wrote. See your money clearly. That's the heart, Ava said. Rachel capped her marker. Good. Then everything else must feel like that. Clear. Investor meetings piled up. Zoom boxes, glazed stares, polite passes. You're too early, some said. Crowded space, others said. After rejection number 47, Ava sat on the curb outside, elbows on knees. Kevin dropped beside her. We can breathe for 5 minutes, he said. Then we go again. A man in a navy jacket stepped out of the co-working building and paused. You two pitched in Conference B, right? Ava stood. Yes. Ava. This is Kevin. He offered a card. Jason Lee. I liked your focus on small shops, not just tech companies pretending to be small. Ava held his gaze. We built it for the bakery around the corner, not for slide decks. Jason smiled. Send me your data room. If it's clean, I'll consider 500,000 for 10%. When he left, Kevin whispered, Did that just happen? Ava closed her eyes a moment. Be cautious, she said, then opened them with a spark. And be ready. Due diligence felt like an audit of their souls. Jason's questions were blunt. Churn. Under 2%, Ava answered. Unit economics? Positive by month 4. Security. We use tokenized connections, read only by default. After the last call, Jason leaned back. You built a fortress with paper walls and steel corners, he said. I'm in. The wire hit their account 3 days later. They bought second-hand desks, swapped the humming table for a small office, and taped their logo, Fortify, on the glass. The team of 3 clapped like it was a stadium. Rachel laughed, wiping a happy tear. Okay, she said, now we actually have to become the voice we promised. Ava nodded. We will. The night they pushed their first major update, Ava's phone buzzed. A text from Tom. Family company closed today. Hope you're proud. She stared at the screen until it blurred. Rachel noticed. Bad. Ava swallowed. They shut down. He wants me to feel guilty. Rachel leaned against the doorframe. Do you? Ava let the breath out. I feel sad. But I also remember my proposal turned to confetti. Kevin rolled over in his chair. You tried to save them with a plan. They wanted a plug for a leaking boat. Ava placed the phone face down. We ship tonight, she said. Our customers wake up to a better morning. A year later, the office hummed with 25 people and the clatter of keyboards. The funding round closed at $10 million. Jason shook Ava's hand. Don't let money make you noisy, he warned. Stay simple. The team cheered, paper cups lifting. Ava smiled for photos, then slipped to the quiet hallway. Her phone buzzed again. LinkedIn. A post from Tom. Some startups steal ideas from family and call it innovation. Comments poured in. Rachel found her there, jaw tight. He's baiting you, Rachel said. Don't bite. Ava nodded, though her hands shook. We'll document everything, Rachel added. Timeline. Emails. Prototypes. Truth doesn't panic. Ava pressed her palms together. Truth doesn't panic, she repeated like a small prayer. 2 months after the round, Aunt Lynn messaged Ava. Coffee in Palo Alto? I'd love to see you. They met at a small cafe with lemon cookies in a glass jar. You look strong, Aunt Lynn said. Ava smiled. Some days. They talked about the company, then about family. Aunt Lynn's eyes softened. Your dad sold the house. He's working again. Your mom feels lost. Ava looked down. I wish it were different. Aunt Lynn touched her hand. They tell a story where you're the villain. People do that to survive their shame. Ava's throat ached. I can't carry their story for them. Aunt Lynn nodded. You shouldn't. But if there's a door you can leave unlocked, do it for your own heart, not theirs. On the drive back, Ava let the words sit beside her like a quiet passenger. 8 weeks later, a cream envelope arrived at Fortify with a law firm's seal. Kevin slid it open, skimmed, and swore under his breath. They're threatening to sue, he said, voice flat. Ava read the claims. Stolen concept, family IP, $5 million in damages. She felt a cold line trace her spine. Their counsel joined by video within the hour. The assertions are weak, the lawyer said. But weak can still waste time. Document everything. And do not respond in anger. After the call, Rachel leaned on the conference table. You could meet him, she said. Face to face. Kevin shook his head. Or we countersue now. Ava stared out the window at the slice of bay. I'll meet him, she said. I need to hear what he wants when no one else is listening. They chose a diner halfway between the city and her old hometown. Her father arrived in a gray suit that seemed heavier than he was. He didn't sit until he'd scanned the room. You asked for this, he said. Ava folded her hands. I know you've contacted my investors and partners, she said quietly. It has to stop. He didn't blink. You owe me recognition and compensation. Ava slid a folder across. Early emails. Drafts. Commits. 3 years before Granddad died. He glanced, then closed it. I know you didn't steal it, he said, eyes flat. Ava felt the booth tilt. Then why keep going? His jaw worked. Because people say, Ava's father, now. She held his gaze. That's pride, not justice. He leaned back. Call it what you like. I will not be forgotten. Ava's voice stayed calm. Then build something new. Don't burn mine. He stood. 40% and a board seat, he said. Or I light the match. Ava reached for the check and stood too. I won't bargain with threats. 2 weeks later, the conference room door at Fortify flew open. Her father, mother, Tom, and 3 lawyers stepped inside like a storm. The team went silent. Ava rose, steady as a post. Kevin, she said evenly, run the agenda without me. In the lobby, her father raised his voice so the whole floor could hear. We're here for a final negotiation. A lawyer thrust a binder at her. Evidence, he said. Ava pulled out her phone and tapped a recording. Her father's voice filled the space. I know you didn't steal the idea. He lurched forward. You recorded me? Their attorney arrived at Ava's side. California allows one-party consent, he said. Silence fell like snow. Ava met her father's eyes. 2 options, she said. You all stop today and sign a written commitment to never repeat these claims, or we file for defamation and intentional interference. Her mother's face crumpled. Tom stared at the floor. The lead lawyer tugged her father aside. Whispers, a stiff nod. They turned to leave with a last glare. Back in the conference room, the team watched her re-enter. Ava set her shoulders and smiled faintly. Where were we? She asked. Oh yes, helping small businesses see their money clearly. After the confrontation, Ava expected fallout. Instead, silence followed. Weeks passed without letters or threats. The company lawyer confirmed, they know they'd lose in court. That recording closed every door for them. Ava still woke at night wondering if the knock would come again. Rachel would roll over and whisper, "You're safe now." Kevin teased lightly in meetings, boss versus family, boss won. But Ava didn't feel like she'd won anything. She felt lighter, yes, but also bruised inside. One evening she opened Lily's old note again. I believe in you. That small scrap of paper had carried her through storms. Now she taped it inside her office drawer, where she could see it every morning before work. Months slipped into a year. Fortify Financial grew from 25 to 120 employees. Their new headquarters overlooked the bay, glass walls shining in the morning light. Ava married Rachel in a quiet ceremony with only close friends and Lily in attendance. Kevin raised a toast, to building families that choose us. Ava smiled through tears. She thought often of her parents but rarely spoke of them. Lily joined the company full-time, bright and determined. It feels like home here, she said. Ava squeezed her sister's hand. That's the point. We build homes where people are safe. Then one afternoon, Ava's secretary poked her head into the office. Your mother is here. Ava froze, pen halfway to the paper. She hadn't seen Jenny in nearly 3 years. Jenny entered slowly, her hair grayer, her back stooped. She sat opposite Ava and clasped her hands. We lost our house. Renting isn't stable. We need $350,000 to buy a small place. Ava's stomach twisted. She kept her tone level. Mom, I can't give you that. Jenny's voice cracked. I carried you 9 months, raised you, cooked and cleaned. After everything, you won't help? Ava whispered, I remember everything, Mom. I also remember being thrown out with 1 suitcase. Jenny began to cry, her tears staining the folder she clutched. I was wrong. But a mother shouldn't end her days without shelter. Ava leaned back, torn in two. I want you safe, she admitted. But I won't give cash. Not after what Dad did. Not after the lawsuits. Jenny pressed harder. We're old. We don't have time to rebuild. Please, Ava. You have so much now. Why not share? Ava stared out the window, the city shimmering below. Because sharing without trust isn't love. It's fuel for more fire. Jenny whispered, so this is the end? Ava closed her eyes. It's the boundary. That night, Ava tossed in bed. Rachel touched her arm. You're still awake. Ava sighed. She asked for $350,000. I said no. Rachel listened, then asked softly, do you regret it? Ava shook her head. I regret what made the no necessary. In the dark, she listed options. Buy a house in my name and let them stay. Split the cost with Tom and Lily. Do nothing. Each option came with knots in her chest. Rachel whispered, "Don't decide tonight. Rest." Ava closed her eyes, but her mind replayed every moment from the will to the lobby confrontation. The next morning, Ava called Lily into her office. "Mom came yesterday," she said quietly. Lily's face fell. "I guessed. She's desperate." Ava nodded. "She asked for 350,000. Lily hesitated. "Would you consider splitting it? Tomiyu? A third each." Ava gave a bitter laugh. "Do you think Tom would pay?" Lily lowered her eyes. "Probably not." Ava walked to the window. "If I buy them a house in my name, they'll still resent me. If I give cash, they'll burn it. And if I do nothing," she trailed off. Lily spoke carefully. "Then you keep your peace." Ava turned eyes damp. "Maybe that's worth more." 2 days later, Tom called unexpectedly. His tone was sharp. "Mom said you refused." "Figures." Ava answered calmly. "I'm not throwing money into a black hole." Tom sneered. "You've always thought you were smarter. Now you're rich and selfish." Ava replied evenly, "I built something from nothing. I offered plans before. Dad tore them up. Don't twist history." Tom slammed the phone down. Ava stared at the silent screen, feeling both wounded and strangely free. She realized nothing she gave would ever be enough for him. That weekend, Ava visited Lily's small apartment. Over tea, Lily whispered, "You don't owe them a house, Ava. You gave them years of chances." Ava looked down at her hands. "But they're still my parents." Lily reached across the table. "Sometimes love means saying no. You taught me that." Ava smiled sadly. "I wanted to be the daughter who saves them." Lily squeezed her hand. "You already saved yourself. That's harder." 1 week later, Ava drafted a letter. She wrote simply, "I wish you safety. But I cannot give you money. Not because I don't care, but because trust was broken. I hope you find peace in the choices you made as I am trying to find peace in mine." She signed it, folded it, and left it unmailed on her desk. "Maybe one day," she told Rachel. "Maybe." For now, the letter was enough. Ava returned to her work, to the company she had built brick by brick from rejection, betrayal, and grit. The office bustled with energy, a family of choice, not blood. She looked at the logo on the wall, Fortify, and smiled. "We're stronger now," she whispered. Kevin clapped her shoulder. "Because you never gave up." Rachel kissed her temple. "Because you learned where to draw the line." Ava gazed out the window at the wide San Francisco sky. For the first time in years, she felt steady. Boundaries, she realized, were not walls. They were doors that closed so new ones could open. Moral lesson. Family is precious, but love without respect becomes manipulation. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is survival. True strength comes from knowing when to say no, even to those you love, so that healing and growth can finally begin. Thanks you for watching, and please remember to tell us where you are watching from today. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more of this.